Hello, fam, and welcome to this week's episode of the Hero Academy podcast. In this episode, I am very excited because I have the wealthy servant, Monty B. Please introduce yourself, sir, because there are a lot of titles, former titles, a lot of current titles that you have, and I don't want to get it wrong because we're all multifaceted, but you do a
Yeah,
lot. You do a lot of things.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let's get right to it.
All
What are you
right,
doing?
thanks.
What are you doing nowadays?
Thanks, Super Dave. Well, nowadays, I recently retired. I'm a retired special agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Just retired this April. For the last 32 years, thank you. For the last 32 years, I have served the public. It's been my dream, been my goal as a kid. I wanted two things. I wanted to serve the public as a law enforcement officer, and I wanted to be wealthy. So I got to accomplish both of those. I'm pleased to say. So, like over the last 32 years, I've been a beat cop. I've been a small town cop, all the way up to a special agent for a state agency, and all through that time, I've owned several businesses, from real estate to a training company, a trucking company, to restaurants, to now that's my main business. I buy and acquire real estate and national businesses, and on the side, I teach first responders how to do the same. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
So you also have a coaching company as well, where you teach
Yeah,
first responders how to do exactly what you're doing.
that's right.
And did you write any books? Are you an author?
Not yet, not yet. But the team is like, you got it right, you got it right. So, no, not yet. It's on the table.
All right. So let's let me dive into some of the things that you've done.
Yeah.
Did you ever do any network marketing back in the day?
That's funny. Actually, I did, man. That's where us, guys I'm from the East Coast. I'm originally from Delaware. One of my first FTOs was like, hey man, look, besides learning this job, you need to make sure you got a side hustle. And I was introduced early on to a company called ACN. It was like a technology company. It was pretty cool. It
They
taught
also
me.
sold gas and electric towards.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
it was one of the better companies. It taught me a lot about, sales and getting out there and really, hustling and trying to grow a business. So yeah, I actually was. Yep.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I just like I didn't know for sure, but
Yeah.
most people that are hustlers,
Yeah.
at some point they were introduced to network marketing. It was
Yeah.
some part of their story. Some
Yep.
of the greatest speakers, I know you're also a speaker as well. Some of the greatest speakers, motivational speakers, come out of that world. Zig Ziglar, for
Yeah.
instance,
Yeah.
Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
Bob Proctor was one of my first mentors.
Really?
Yeah, 26 years old. I flew to Toronto, first time getting on a plane by myself. And of course, I was on the job at that time. I still am, but I was on the job at that time and working midnights. And I thought I was going to meet the owner of Procter and Gamble. I thought he was
Right.
like this multi-billionaire
Right.
national
Right.
corporation, international corporation owner. And then I found out that he taught personal development. I got introduced to Think and Grow Rich and The Science of Getting
Yeah.
Rich by Wallace
Yeah.
Wattles, those incredible books. So
Wow.
I've had the bug along, we share that common journey of law
Yeah.
enforcement and also wanting to be wealthy. So we
I
share.
love that. I love meeting people like you. That it just like it excites me. I love people with that energy and that passion and that drive, man. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
So let's go back to, how old were you when you got on the job?
The job. So I originally started when I was 19. I actually started as a parking enforcement officer in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and then
Wow.
yeah, then the next summer I was an undercover cop in Ocean City, Maryland. I did that for two seasons. Eventually moved over to a town where I worked undercover for about a year, a long-term investigation. Didn't know what I was doing. My mom, I would come home on the weekends. My mom was like, "What?" I looked all scruffy and all, She's like, eventually came home to Delaware and worked there for a couple of years. Had a crazy schedule. Could not finish my degree. Quit. Got my degree. like 2 weeks after I quit, they changed the schedule, had take-home cars, had MDTs, everything. It must have been me. So, and eventually moved on to the Marine Corps, and that was my path. So
You went to the Marine Corps?
I did. I was an officer. I went to OCS. I went to Quantico at age 29. It was a blessing. I was in the best shape of my life, learned so much, and it was an honor to earn the right to lead Marines. It just, yeah, it was
Oh man,
fantastic.
thank you for all of your service and
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
the years of service.
It's been my honor.
I told you I would give you your roses in public because I don't believe in waiting to give the roses. I want to give you your roses right now and tell you, and you've lived and continue to live an incredible life. And I just want to give you this platform to share it with all of the people
Yeah,
who are at different stages of their career. So you have
right,
some people who are at the very beginning of the career.
right.
And what advice would you give those men and women in uniform? What advice would you give them, the young ones who are on the job?
Yeah, yeah. Find what you're really passionate, what your lane you're passionate about, and just dedicate yourself, get a discipline. Also, as someone told me, hey, and I heard this 2 times, both in law enforcement and then in the military, you're going to have to develop another income stream just for your personal security and just for your sake, your sanity. You're going to want to know that you're not trapped. Give yourself that gift, that just start learning. Make it a discipline, just like you work out, just like you eat right. Do that. Make a discipline that you're going to at least learn and reach out to other people like yourself that are willing to develop you and mentor you. Those kind of things, and make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. If you're getting hammered for making mistakes, that's not the right agency to be with. That's not the right path, because it's going to happen. You and I both know nobody that's worth their salt in law enforcement did make mistakes.
Yep.
So I think we've gotten way overcorrected, and we put the fear of God into our young talented people, and they're afraid to make mistakes. That's baloney. That's garbage. We've got such talented individuals coming to this career. No other career has the benefit that we do.
Now let's take it to the flip side.
Yeah.
You got a guy with 25 plus years, such as myself.
Yeah.
25 plus years. They're looking at, they're at the tail end of their career. They're looking at the transition.
Right.
What advice would you give that individual who maybe they didn't dip their toe into anything else? This is all they've ever known.
Yeah.
This is their entire, and I'm not speaking about myself, but I'm
No, I know.
those individuals that they live and breathe the job, their career, their title.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in a leadership role, especially those individuals, and they're nearing the end of the career and they're trying to figure out what they should do next.
Yeah, so I can relate to that too, as a matter of fact. I mean, it was one of the things I always wanted to do since I was little. And, a goal was, hey, I wanted that title of special agent. And it was just, I should have probably left 2 years ago. But I was holding on, like you described, the identity of being law enforcement protector and all these other things. In my mind, I had already started to transition. That's probably a time when you should go. But the advice is embrace being uncomfortable. Do not put yourself in a box and, oh, I can't do that. That's money. That's, financial investing. I don't understand. I can't. What's funny is, if your chief or sheriff came to you before you left and said, hey, David, I've got you've got to organize a rally for the community. You've got to give a speech to, these young kids. You've also got to put a plan for the budget for the range. You've got to do these other things. I need you to organize, all these search warrants. We've got to go out and do all these tactical things. You got every skill it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. That's what kills me. The only thing is, you just haven't taught how to really do it. That's it. but we get it in our heads. It's our own self-talk, our limiting belief that our value is between 55 and 100,000 because that's what we get paid. No, your value is unlimited because we have trained you how to be a creative problem solver. That's what it is to be an entrepreneur, but we don't realize that.
You said between 55 and 100,000,
Yeah.
but you're talking about the middle of the country. Let's talk about California and New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
up there. There is a gentleman who teaches ATMs.
Yeah.
And
Familiar. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So he was in California in narcotics, making over 200,000 a
That's right.
year with overtime, probably 230,
Yep.
240. And that salary, especially in California, New York, and maybe even some parts of Texas, is very seductive.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's funny. I was a task force officer assigned to the DEA for nearly 9 years during my law enforcement career. And I remember a case took us out to California, and I just love engaging with, other officers and everything and hearing, what they're doing. And this guy was really sharp. He was my counterpart in California. I'm like, dude, why are you not jumping in DEA? You just got it all. It's like, are you kidding? That would be a significant pay cut. And he went on and told me that because here I am in Georgia. I'm like, I'm making 1/3 of that, off my W-2. I never really worried about, because of my business, but I was like, holy crap, that, yeah, it is, super seductive, but that's the thing, man. It's that W-2. It is that bribe for you to give up your dreams of being free. And ultimately, there is a lot of us. That's why we do patrol work. That's why we do detective work, because we are free. You know what I mean? We get to kind of designate where we're going, what we're doing. But it's a bribe, man. And if you really fully understood that you have every skill to write your own check, if you really understood that, the world is really your oyster. This stuff that other civilians get hung on is nothing for us. And that's my mission, is to convince you, like, look, just do it. I don't care if you do it with me. I don't care if you figure it out like I did early on and suffered through it and made mistakes, but just do it. Just know that it's totally possible. And there's communities out there to help you, but do not live and be, seduced by that W-2, because it will betray you. That is a fickle mistress. When you leave, it's gone. And now what?
So I have a belief that there is no competition. People resonate with you, they resonate with me, and I'll bring you on 2 times, 2 times a month,
Right.
and we could have the same conversation, because Bob Proctor dropped the seed inside of me. He said, what if, how would your life change if your annual income became your monthly income? And that seed took a hold of me, man. Like it never let go.
Yep.
And I never lost sight of that idea.
Yeah.
And I understood the mission.
Right.
I understood the mission.
Right. Right. I love that about, I love you live in abundance, and that is exactly where I live. And it's so unique. I think there are more folks in law enforcement that think that way, but we law enforcement supervisors and administrators, I think we get tempted on pushing them into fear. We rule by fear instead of remembering, hey, law enforcement is a people business, man. So if you really want to keep these people, treat them well, out of the box, connect with these folks. Don't give me this garbage about, hey, they're millennials and I can't No. Honestly, we are filled with, type A's. A type A is a type A is a type A. An alpha is an alpha is an alpha. We just communicate differently. We have a little bit different, raisings, but for the most part, there is a common thread. But what happens, as you and I both know, when we get up there, sometimes we fall back to being lazy instead of being creative and just say, well, back in my day, no, it is our job to be true leaders. So
Comfortable, conformity.
Yes.
conformity and being comfortable. I call it the golden handcuffs.
Oh man. Oh
Golden
man. Yeah,
handcuffs,
yeah,
because
yeah. Exactly.
they're
Exactly.
just loose enough for you to think that you're free and
That's
that
right.
you're good.
That's
And it's the check is so seductive because you get it every 2 weeks. It
yep.
keeps showing up no matter what. But if there was a way that they could connect with you
Yeah.
and learn how to earn their annual income on a monthly basis,
Yeah.
why wouldn't someone take that opportunity? Like, what is it that holds back
It's great. It's great. Great question.
the people that you've got on calls with
Yep.
and tried to dig into like their psyche?
Yep. That's you said it right there. It is the self-talk that I keep telling myself. I keep telling myself. And by the way, Dave, you know this, being in rooms with high performers, it's when you're in the room with high performers and you start to, talk to them and relate, you're like, okay, I get it. Yeah, I get it. But I also get that I'm close, and I can do what he's doing. I can relate. I may not be there, but I understand it's possible. When does that happen? How many millionaires have they met that were cops that transitioned, and came back and say, hey, I'm a millionaire. You say that example. Hey, how many people are making, their monthly W-2 salary on their side hustle? I did it for 5 years before I left because I totally enjoyed my life. And when I was off, I was off. I got to go on, amazing trips I didn't live, and the life was the job was that much sweeter because you weren't stressed about, hey, I got to run to the next pay job. Hey, I got to work overtime. Hey, I got to do this. And the wife, or the husband, are like, where's our time? The kids are like, where's our time? We didn't have to worry about that. So
Two things you just mentioned. The overtime.
yeah,
People get addicted to it.
I know.
I work with a couple of people,
Yeah.
no names, of course, who I actually feel for them because I understand the position they're in of needing the overtime,
Yeah.
and I want to take them aside and say, hey, there's a better way. There's a better way to make money, and I know that they're not ready to hear the message yet
Yeah.
because I just see their actions, so I know that they're not ready to embark on that better way.
I don't know. Maybe like, and it's kind of like your faith too. When we plant the seed, I mean, for a little bit there, I drifted away from my faith, and then somebody, recently, um, believe it or not, a retired FBI agent recruited me back into a Bible study and just planted that seed. It had been there, but it was really, honestly, an uncomfortable, thing I needed to do. But so you never really know. Being willing to plant that seed. It's not like you're
Plant seeds,
this.
plant seeds.
Yeah, I mean, what's cool is this is not you trying to, get them to do something great. This is truly a benefit. If nothing else, I love where your head is as far as abundance. Who knows if I plant the seed or they hear me, they suddenly come to you and say, you know what? You've been saying it, or I've been listening over the cube when you've been talking to other people and trying to help them. Can you help me? And
I
so
honestly would have you on the show once a month if your time afforded,
yeah,
it, because
yeah.
the way you think and the way that you communicate your ideas are so incredibly important and special. And some people will only connect with your voice. And
Man,
I
you were just like
I know
that's
it.
such an honor. I would do, hey, Dave. I'll make this. My team will go, bananas. But I'll make a guarantee. Anytime you want me on, and we set that up, short of,
I won't abuse it. I won't
yeah,
abuse it.
short of the wife taking, and going on trips like that. Short of that, we will make exceptions, to the schedule. We'll make sure we're on there because I love, again, what you're doing and where your heart is as far as abundance and getting that message out. And that is what you're absolutely dedicated to. I love that.
So the reason why I created the Hero Academy was to celebrate all of our frontline heroes that
Right.
society calls heroes. I know you may not look at yourself as a hero, but you are a hero to someone and a lot of people out there. You're a hero to a lot of people out there. You may not call yourself a hero, but there's a lot of people that look at you that way. So that's why I
Right.
called the show the Hero Academy.
It's
And
awesome.
the whole entire purpose of it was to create a platform where we could celebrate the people that have stories of success, such as yours, but also talk about the people that haven't yet found it, and they're still in the job, they're still in the trenches. So I like talking to people of all levels,
Yeah.
the beginning,
Right.
the beginning stages of the career, and the tail end, and
Right.
people that have also retired.
Right.
My question that's been lingering in my mind,
Yeah.
I think it's rude to ask you how much money you make on an annual
Yeah.
basis, but
Yeah.
the question that I have that I know is not rude is, how many streams of income do you think that you have, or do you actually know?
Oh, you trust me, the wifey knows exactly. So it is currently 8.
Eight streams
Um,
of income. So I
yeah.
want everyone that's listening to take note. The average millionaire has, they say, 7 streams of income. That's the
Right.
number that they say.
And so what's confusing, I love this. Here's my thing, Dave, too, that I don't like, is we get stuck in cliches. And that's how we as first responders kind of learn about money, and we learn in cliches. Well, Dave, and I know your clients have probably told you, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this business you want me to do because I don't have money. Dave, I don't know if you understand this, but it takes money to make money. And they use that as a stop
Yes.
instead of thinking creatively and saying, well, yes, and also it doesn't have to be your money.
Yes.
How about from an abundance sense? Do you know how many people, millions of people out there that have a ton of money that are looking for good projects, and good, honest people like yourself who are coming from law enforcement,
Yes.
who do what they say they're going to do? There's just not enough people like that, bottom line. Being in real estate and business, there are some sharks out there that will, I think they'll sell their mothers into slavery. And to have officers that do exactly what they say, in fact, they always discount themselves. They always do. And I'm always pushing them like, no, you're worth more than that. No, this is, you're being too generous. Let's, so.
I just had an idea. It's something that I learned when I was temporarily I tell people I was temporarily a real estate investor. I had 3 homes. I
Oh,
had three
nice.
homes. I completely regret selling one of them,
Right.
because I think I'd have many more right now if I hadn't sold that other one that I sold. But anyway, I digress. My point is, one of the things that I learned from real estate is that there is no shortage of money. There is zero shortage of money. You find, if someone goes out and they find a deal and they bring it to you, and then you're gonna share in that deal. However you work it out, you're
Man,
gonna share.
let me just stop you here. I hope everybody that's listening, this is this is a nugget that I hope people go back, rewind that, and write that down. If you think we're BSing you, then you're wrong. Again, hear what he said. There is no shortage of money. People are waiting for you to bring deals because that's not what they do.
Right.
They made their
You're
money
not
with
out
other
there.
industries.
You do occasionally drive around and look for certain things.
Absolutely.
But if you have a dozen people out there just saying, "Hey, I just found this great deal,"
Yeah.
they're not playing with their own money. They're playing with yours. And if it makes sense,
Right.
you're going to invest in it, and they're
Right.
going to benefit from that.
That's exactly right. Your money has to go to work. Every dollar has to have a job. If you don't think like that, then guess what? I will, because you're going to stick your money in the bank. And guess what? I'm coming to the bank and I'm like, hey guys, I have a project. And this is real. We have a multi-dollar, project, in the outskirts of Atlanta here, and I'll borrow your money, and I'll make money, and they'll give you 2% maybe. How's that sound? While I make a substantial windfall off of your money. That's not right, guys. That's not right. If we just learn the real game about this, you don't have to do the project. You could just say, hey, I've got, this money in my 401k. Dave is proving himself as a real estate investor or a business, buyer. Dave, here's $100,000 for my 401k. I've moved it over and self-directed. Go forth and conquer. Cool. I'm going to give you a 10%, 15%, whatever return, as opposed to, putting it in a 401k. It is my pet peeve. I can't stand it. I hate it. It is it's really a trap. And I'm very adamant about that. And
You made me think about have you heard about DJ Envy and Flippin' NJ, the scandal? So he's a DJ in New York,
okay,
and he was promoting this guy called Flipping NJ. Look into the story when you get a chance.
I feel like I know that.
And this guy named Tony the Closer, who,
Yes. Okay. Yes, I know Tony the Closer because he's from around here. Yeah, and
yes,
he kind of got some stuff on here too with another guy that we. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so
Wow.
he exposed this individual from New Jersey
Yeah.
that was basically taking he was taking deposits on properties that he wasn't actually selling or doing anything with. It was a massive Ponzi scheme for
Yeah.
millions of dollars. So look
Yeah.
into that story when you get a
Yeah.
chance. But
Yeah.
how can people protect themselves? Because when you say $100,000 from their 401k,
Yeah.
how can someone know that they're actually
And
doing
Dave,
a
again,
real
dropping
deal?
nuggets. I love it. A drop in gold here. And so here's what I'm going to tell you. You want it? Here it is. Don't believe me. Don't believe Dave. That's what we don't want. You know why? You need to get your knowledge so that we're all sitting in a room and I talk to you and you're at a level. If you're doing it only because we said so, that's not good. You're not a good partner. You're not really bringing anything to the table. Your money doesn't really, it's not that valuable. I can go find money. I really want people that are educated, because people that are educated understand the whole, cycle of this. They understand the ups and the downs, and we can keep doing more. And from my heart, I want you to be educated and understand why you're making moves, not just because someone's told you. Hence the 401k. Someone told you to put your money in there because they're going to match. But that's not really how we play, in the stock market. Real investors know how to play up and down, sideways, short stocks, do all these things. That's really how we do it. But in the 401k, you're limited and you're stuck, and it becomes trapped money. And you're convinced that that's a good system. It's not. So become educated and really take ownership of where you want to go. When you have ownership and knowledge, now you can make moves. Now you have real freedom. If you're just doing it because everybody else is doing it, well, you're just as imprisoned as everyone else. So get the knowledge, then come be a partner with, one of us or somebody, or then what the move is. We lend money out all the time because we know what we're doing. We're positioned. When I lend money to another real estate investor, I know it's secured by that property. I have no problem. I also know who they are. I can hear what their strategy is. I can even put input. Oh, by the way, did you think of this? Yes, I did. Cool, thanks. I know what's going on. I don't invest in anything. I don't invest in anything that I'm not really familiar with and really understand. So,
Is your strategy fix and flip, buy and hold, or a combination of all of those things, or a little bit of everything? Construction?
right. Yes. So we do everything. We don't close the door. I mean, like everything. We believe in, being a ninja on everything. We want to, and that's everything. So the first mastery is learning what a deal is. Okay. Then deciding what you want to, work in. Maybe you want to buy, auto body shops, which we love. Okay. Maybe you want to buy, medical practices, which we love. Maybe you want to buy, single family homes that you turn into pad split or short-term rentals, which we love. But we need to have a strategy. Okay. And from there, we start building our buy box. Now, some things may not fit. That doesn't mean we're not going to make money. I go to Dave because I know his buy box, and Dave says, hell yeah, I'll buy that hair salon because my girl, that's all she does. She knows how to master this. She knows how to recruit. She knows how to manage these things. Absolutely. I don't want hair salons. I don't know anything about it, but the same thing with maybe your beach rentals. You're like, yeah, I'll take them all day long. I got this. So know what you're going for, and we believe in being a Swiss Army knife. There's opportunities everywhere. If we don't take it, we can have and think as
Wholesale.
abundantly as possible. Somebody else is going to make money with it. So,
Wholesale.
but we have to master knowing what a deal is.
there's so many different strategies. There's
Yeah.
dozens. There's
Yeah.
just off the top of my head, wholesaling,
Yep.
Airbnb,
Yep.
uh, like I said, fix and flip,
Yeah.
buy and hold,
Yeah.
construction, turning it in, rezoning. There's
Right, right,
so
right,
many
right.
strategies.
Yeah, entitlements. So it just kind of, and then we're very forward thinking. We try to think 3 steps ahead. It really depends on the season. Right now, people are getting freaked out, and with the interest rates, and they're going to tell you it's a bad time to be on real estate. And I'm going to tell you, it is a good and fantastic time to be on real estate if you know what you're doing. We are making more deals now because people are kind of stuck and they don't know how to solve these problems. Before it was very easy. Put in the market, boom, got done. Now people have to think creatively. Well, we don't have a lot of people with that experience, either as real estate brokers or as investors. So it's leaving, a huge opportunity for people like myself and my wife that really know this stuff and think creatively and are able to solve problems for these sellers. And so that we keep ourselves as problem solvers, and we keep learning how to do that. So don't listen. The other thing is, golden tip: do not listen to people that haven't done what you want to do. If you got one of your sector partners or one of your detective, buddies are saying like, "Hey, man, real estate's risky." Yes, and also the risk is highly mitigated if you know what you're doing. Going through a door to serve a search warrant is risky if you're a brand new rookie and you don't know anything about search and seizure. You don't know anything about tactics. You don't know anything about all this. You can risk. There's a whole line of risks between physical risk, mental risk, the law. We messed up because we didn't double check and we hit the wrong door. There's some risk there. So
yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned risk. It makes me think of insurance. One of my mentors talked about all the different things that you can sell. You can sell access, you can sell insurance, you can sell something physical, you can sell something digital.
yeah.
Are you moving into the digital space? Is that part of your portfolio, or are you highly physical?
We do digital products. We do digital products, intellectual products. We like those knowledge, where we recognize, hey, there's a need, that we have a particular skill set and knowledge that we sell. One of the things that we love doing with our clients is they come into our program generally for either to buy a business, buy real estate, or boost a business. But also what we typically find is these guys have talent that they didn't even realize. You got podcasters, speech writers, book writers. You've got folks doing business credit and all kind of different things they don't even realize. We had one that's doing right now school safety. So we're able to pull out these other elements, make it into a digital product, or work with them to make it into a digital product. And now they're getting paid while they're sleeping too, because they never thought about it. Like, yes. Well, we love that because of the low cost. Once we do it once, and it's just reoccurring, we put it on our systems, and there you go. We love it.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. Switching gears, your other half, she is a high performance coach. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I know this is one of, it doesn't even really describe what she does. And it drives her crazy because a lot of people will say, I'm a performance coach or I'm a life coach, and we use these other terms like to try to best describe her, and we really can't. But so we fit it in that box. But this is someone that is able to truly move you to the next level, not just talk about it, make you feel good. A lot of people, the biggest thing that stops them is the mental.
Yes. And
so you have a person, just to explain that, what the private sector has said her value was. There are folks, Fortune 100 companies, that will contract with her for $50,000 for her to come in and coach these high-level executives to move the needle very significantly. She has this amazing way of looking things in a three-dimensional way, both with science, both with the mind, and both with the, and with the heart. This is a dynamic way of looking at things. Having that person in our program, if I wasn't connected with her, we wouldn't be able to do it. And we wouldn't be able to, it has allowed us this super confidence that folks that work with us are going to get the results, because that's what we focus on first, is the mental. These things, these handcuffs, maybe we have money issue, money mindset issues. Maybe we have imposter syndrome. We don't feel like, who's going to listen to me? I'm just a cop. I'm not a chief. What do I know about leadership? No. So we get people to focus on those blocks and push forward. Just an amazing woman. I put her up against, and she is at the level of Brandon Burchard, Tony Robbins. We are nudging her to share those gifts with the world. We really are. She's a very private, creative person. We believe next year she's going to be coming out like a comet. I'm super excited about that. And
some people operate best behind the scenes. You're the face of the company, and they're the, to do a chess analogy, they're the queen of the board. They're the most powerful piece, the most powerful piece on the board. You're the king, but the queen is making all the most significant moves behind the scenes. Some people, that's where they operate best. That's where they operate best.
And since she's a unique person that actually is able to wear both hats successfully, I am not that type. I have one role and not that many gifts. I have always marveled at people that have been super talented. I have a best friend. She's like that too, super talented. She is a classically trained pianist. She, if she continued on, probably would have been awarded a PhD in science, a super talented artist. Me, I can shoot, I can blow things up, arrest people, and maybe lead. And I don't have that many talents, but I'm always marveled at these people that have, my best friend is like that, just super talented with all these kind of things. So I think it has a lot to do with her being willing to sacrifice, for me and for this mission. She totally is into this mission. So I am deeply honored and privileged to have that person, walking alongside of me and helping me, and really huge counsel. I mean, I could not do the things that we are doing now would blow your mind if you were behind the curtains. And it's almost 100% because of her and her leadership.
If someone does hear this and they say, I want to work with that guy, how could they connect with you?
Yeah. So, you connect with me like we connected, on LinkedIn. thewealthyservant.com is, you'll get right to my website and connect with me there, and we'll schedule a talk. And I am doing less and less, strategy calls, just super busy. And that has not been my vision to do this full time, but I try to make it a practice that I get on there 1 or 2 calls and make myself available during the coaching. That's different. My clients have a lot more access to myself and my better half and the rest of the staff. But yeah, please. And even if it's just a matter of like, hey, I got some questions, shoot me, a text or a DM in LinkedIn, or connect with me, through thewealthyservant.com. And I would love to connect with you, especially anybody that's considering or waffling, not sure what to do.
We're at the top of the hour, and I want to respect your time. So I'm just going to hit you with my final 5 questions that I ask pretty much everyone. Nice. And we'll call it a wrap. But question number 1, what is your definition of a hero? Because if anyone can define it, I think it would be you.
Wow, man.
I know it's a tough question. It hits a lot of people with a lot of different ways, but I'm going to tell you that it's in your title.
Yeah.
Serving.
Yeah.
Service.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And exactly. I believe someone that's, and someone willing to, walk authentically in who they are, and to be true to themselves and true to others, and be at peace. And again, willing to serve others. That is a true hero. And it could be in the smallest ways. I think teachers, I was raised by, 3 teachers, my mom, my father, my stepfather.
I would push back. Now, my mom was one of my heroes. She was a custodian. She was a custodian. She worked in the schools. I would push back against teachers, custodians, garbage people. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they don't necessarily risk their lives going to work, whereas firemen, law enforcement, medical personnel, they actually are risking something
For sure. For
to
sure.
serve us.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when you put that vest on and you went to work,
Yeah.
you were risking something.
For sure.
So I
For
think in
sure.
order to really, my personal definition,
Right.
in order to be defined a hero, and this is why I represent these people,
Yeah.
you have to have something on the line.
Yeah.
And as you said, you have to be performing a service. You have to be
Yeah.
serving, right?
Yeah.
They're public servants, but I
Yeah.
think there has to be something on the line. I think
Yeah.
like if you just go into work, I don't think that qualifies.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and so, and having, and I can tell you from my family, from the educator's standpoint, they put a lot on the line. You see these, unfortunately, we actually have, examples of these school shootings where these teachers talk about putting it on the line.
They're terrified.
Yeah, and they are willing to sacrifice themselves to save their kids because they believe they are their kids. So I think there's a whole line of people who are truly, heroes and blessings to the society. Without a doubt, honestly, you're right. The first responders, especially again, where my heart is, law enforcement. You're right. What we see on a daily, and we push down and say, "Oh, it's not that big a deal." Yeah, I saw this lady get run over. Oh yeah, I saw this guy get beat up to a pulp. Oh yeah, I saw this homeless kid. And I saw this over. It taxes you. Oh yeah, I had to do a felony car stop. Oh yeah, I got in a shooting. It is but yes, go out there every day and continue to be a positive beacon, despite what other people want to frame it as. Please, before you criticize, step in those boots for a week and do that job. Then all the criticism that you want, please heap upon us if you still feel the same way. But until you step in our shoes, then perhaps you ought to hold your tongue and realize the gift that you're given, you would never be able to truly afford their value. You just can't. The return on investment that people get, the society gets for law enforcement, is immeasurable.
They're asked to do so many different things: mental health, crisis counselors, child protective services, the initial responder to everything.
Right.
Now you've stepped away for a few months now, but I know there are stressors in your day,
Right.
and when you're starting to reach your breaking point, how do you save yourself? How do you show yourself love?
Man, that's such a great book. Man, you got some good questions.
Thank you.
I work out. I get in the right headspace. I also, talk it out with my better halves and make sure I communicate that. That is, we can't, that's what we do, right? Typically we do the other thing where we hold it all in. I was very fortunate to be raised by, a mother that was very expressive and said, hey, and validated, hey, get that out, express yourself and talk to other people and reach out. So that I never saw that as a weakness. I was very fortunate. In fact, when I was in the Marine Corps and leading those guys, they made it a requirement so they could put it on me that they had to. They go, oh, Captain Bynum made us go. But that way the burden was off of them.
My third question for you before we wrap it. You had a busy plate. What made you decide to tack on coaching? Was it just so many people coming to you? I strongly believe in coaching. That.
Yes, absolutely. And this has been about a 2-year journey, and truthfully, it's taken 2 years to really step in the role. I wanted to ride off in the sunset and just be by what I thought, because I was dealing with serious imposter syndrome. What value do, even though I was earning significant money and had significant proof from my business, I like you have this self-talk in your head, like, what value do I have? What can I do? It's crazy. Um, I realized when I was leaving, my better half was like, well, who's going to help them? What do you mean? Well, they're going to go to all these gurus that are just selling products. You know how skeptical they are.
Yep.
They need somebody that they can truly relate and ask the friggin' tough questions and say, look, dude, I'm working 12 hours. Look, I just did all these search warrants. I got to do returns and everything else. I got to do all these case files. How am I going to do this? And somebody else might let them off the hook, or somebody else might, tell them something else and not be a good coach. And that's what she said. Look, they need somebody like you that has been all the way through ups and downs and can tell them straight, and still give them that hope and that possible and the roadmap. And it took me a year really to step into it.
And I thank God that you did. What's
Oh man,
your what's your power? What's your best strength? What's your best ability today?
I think being optimistic. I think staying optimistic and trying and seeing being optimistic and kind of gathering people together. The other
We
one,
have we have so much in common because people talk about the state of law enforcement, but I am an optimist to my core. And I always
nice,
say the pendulum of common sense will swing again. It will
yeah,
swing because
yeah,
people will look around and say, okay, we have to apply some common sense here, and the pendulum will swing. After a career of 30 plus years, you've seen it swing
right,
a few times.
right,
You've seen it swing.
right,
So
absolutely,
we have the benefit of hindsight. We can look back and say, you know what, the tide goes out, the tide comes in, things don't stay the
that's right,
same, change is inevitable, and things will change.
that's right, that's right, that's right, and
Sometimes for
that's
the
a good.
worse, sometimes for the worse, and sometimes for the better.
That's right, and you're right, and I think it's time, for these new folks, new generation, to step forward and lead. It's time for a new way of leadership. It has always kind of rubbed me wrong that we've always had the old leadership style in law enforcement, but we try to claim that it's the military. Well, the military doesn't lead that way. We don't train leaders.
Paramilitary.
Yes, and that's it's always funny. It's always rubbed me wrong. Like, no, not at all. But it, I can see it already. It's already swinging back. Now the problem is we've got to do a better job of recruiting these talented people, because they kind of have said, you really have diminished our value. You don't really see this job as critical until you really need it. I don't want to live my life on a yo-yo. And talented people get their value, and now we're in trouble. We're in real trouble trying to recruit them back, because we have not done a good job of recruiting them, retaining them, and helping these folks flourish. Our current, folks that are in there now, we have a hard time doing that. So it's time for people in leadership to step up, really step up. You're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And if you're part of the problem, step down, get away, get out, because it's coming that you're gonna get called out and you're gonna look really stupid. So
One of my favorite quotes: lead, follow, or get out of the way. You just
that's
said it.
right. That's right.
You
That's
just
right.
said it. Lead, follow, or get out. Make a decision, for God's sakes. Make a
Right.
decision. Go in a direction. And my last question for you, Monty. This one's for fun.
Yeah.
If you had a comic book superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, man. So I'm just going to say, I love Superman. I would just say flying. That's my thing. That is my next jam. I'm currently enrolled in getting my pilot's license. Part of what I'll be doing next year is I'll pick up a small plane to, as part of my business. But I love flying. Love the idea of that, man. So yeah.
Do you follow Maxwell? I can't remember his full
I
name.
do. Max Maxwell. As a
Max
friend,
Maxwell.
we do. Yep.
He
Yep. Yep. Yep.
posted a video once of him going into his hangar and
Yep.
taking out his green plane.
Yep.
And I wrote, a lot of times I don't comment on people's things, but I'm like, man, this is so inspiring. I'm like, thank you for posting this.
Yes.
And I think I shared with you before in one of our conversations that I was choosing between being a pilot or being a police officer.
Really?
Yeah, or maybe it was
Wow.
someone
So
else
it's
I
funny
shared
you
that with.
say that. No, it's funny you say that because we were discussing that when I was in the Marine Corps. When you go into the Marine Corps gets the majority of their officers off the street from college. Well, I originally had an air contract, and at the last minute, I switched to ground contract. And but what was weird because I always had a dream of flying, and I don't know why to this day what happened, why I switched. But man, that's awesome. That's
Good
awesome.
luck. Good luck on your pilot's license.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I really, really look forward to continuing the conversation. I am so
Absolutely.
incredibly grateful that you hopped on today, and it does fill me with energy. Like as soon as we hang up, like I drop to the floor and do some push-ups
Oh
because
man. Oh
because
man. What a
because like
motivator.
you fire me up. This conversation fires me up, and I'm so incredibly grateful for you. And if anyone resonated with what Monty had to say, and you want to get into real estate, you want to know about his coaching, look him up at thewealthyservant.com. And that's all I got to
Sure.
say. It's a wrap.
And Dave, I am so honored and blessed, and I'm super impressed. I'm excited that you had me on. So thank you very much. I look forward to working with you, and I whatever I can do to help in your massive success. I'm here for you. Just call.
I'm going to find a way to serve you, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, take care. Bye bye.
All right, family. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Everyone I interview, I've chosen for you guys because of their story. And I hope that you get some value every single time. If you did get value or just simply enjoyed the episode, please share the episode with someone that you know. If you know of a guest, a frontline hero that has an amazing story, something uplifting or a positive message, hit me up in the contact form of www.davidleith.com or DM me at Instagram at davidleith1. Subscribe to the show because I have some really phenomenal guests coming up in the next few weeks that you definitely don't want to miss. All right, one.